Hi, and welcome to this episode. I'm joined today by Christopher, and we're going to be talking about the new Veeam Software Appliance. Now, I've used this recently, installing the appliance, but only in a virtual sense, but it's been super easy to deploy, super easy to manage, and even make security updates and other types of updates very, very simple. So what Christopher's going to do today is going to walk us through the possibilities of the Veeam Software Appliance when it comes to HPE. So over to you, Christopher.
Yeah, so there's a few different choices you have with this, and Kevin, I kind of expected you to go into a little more detail about your experiences with it. Just to share my own personal experience. I'm a guy who doesn't like to read directions, and I also like to test that our marketing teams are being honest. So when I first got a hold of this thing, I wanted to see how easy it was and how intuitive it was to use for the Veeam software appliance. And it's for anyone who has any kind of data center management experience, or just you've been a Linux admin in a data center or something. This is just you boot from an ISO, and it takes you through this kind of wizard driven experience. Most of those questions are network related, and then we do all the work for you. We install the operating system. We harden the operating system. We install and harden the software itself. We'll even do all the patching for you if there's any updates ongoing. So I found it to be a very, very simple tool to use for the installation and the maintenance. Like it says there on the image there, secure from day one, simple to deploy. I would definitely agree with all of that. As far as your options there for HPE specific storage servers, I would stick with the T-shirt sizing that we've been using with the storage servers with HPE. These are very likely to be rebranded. Currently we have the Alletra 4140 and the 4120. Those will probably be rebranded as some type of Reliant models, but the underlying hardware will very likely remain the same. But you can see you've got different entry points for storage, all the way from a few hundred terabyte with that 380, all the way up to goodness, almost 2 petabyte with the Alletra 4140. So lots of different entry points there. And you don't have to go with 24 terabyte drives. I mean, these sizes are based on 24 terabyte drives. You could go with something less for whatever reason. If say there's a availability issue on 24 terabyte drives in the moment, and the customer wants to choose a lower entry point, they can go with something like a 20 or a 16 or even a 12 terabyte drive. We've had customers make those choices for a number of reasons, not just based on availability. You also see the great restore and backup numbers there. Even with that entry level, 7 gigabyte of backup and even 4.5 gigabytes a second on restore, that's impressive. And then you see that the performance just gets better with the larger boxes. And the corresponding capacities as well. One question that I've received repeatedly from partners and customers about the Veeam software appliance is specifically around what type of hardware can be on the server. And when I get those questions, when you hear that, think about fiber channel cards, networking cards. Those are the types of questions. Can we put those in the servers? And to validate that, you just need to check the hardware compatibility list for Rocky Linux, and you could also cross-reference the hardware compatibility list for Red Hat Linux as well to verify that the hardware that you have in that server is actually going to work with our operating system. But I would honestly be surprised if you found any gaps for drivers. I think that the hardware that HPE is using is standard industry hardware. I would be surprised if there was a driver that's missing for whatever you intend to use in these servers. So That's really the only gotcha is to check that hardware compatibility list, and you get all these different, great options for entry levels, for sizing, for performance, and yeah, the customer ought to have a variety of choices and be happy with whatever they choose.
Thanks, Christopher. So you said at the beginning you were expecting me to elaborate a little bit more on my experience with the appliance. Well, I think in a previous video or an early video, I initially expressed my perhaps trauma of thinking about having to deploy a Linux appliance. Now, that's now faded into my memory, but just to bring that out for a second, I've been the Windows guy for maybe 3 decades. So the thought of using a Linux or deploying a Linux appliance before I did it with the Veeam software appliance, there was some trauma there, thinking about I'd need to know things at CLI, I'd need to have some Linux skills, but that they have faded so quickly because of my experience of deploying the Veeam software appliance. As you stated, Christopher, we do everything for you. You boot from an ISO, and we take care of everything. Updates, security patches. It's so easy to use. So I must remember that trauma for when I'm asked, Christopher. So thank you for reminding me to bring that back out. And thanks for a great walkthrough of what's possible with the software
Yeah,
appliance with the HP product portfolio.
yeah. Well, I'm glad to bring up all the good and bad memories for you.
Thanks, Christopher. So
Yeah,
thanks for watching the session. Hopefully you found it useful, and please check out the rest of the content in this playlist and on the Veeam YouTube channel. Thanks, Christopher.
thank you.